Jack, thanks for giving me your time. And fundamentally, one of the reasons why I'm visiting Bath today is that I just wanted to make connections. I've read a lot of your stuff, heard about you, and have other connections, obviously, with action research in Australia and elsewhere. And this is just a great opportunity, and I thank you for your time. But really, one of the focuses of what I'd like to do here is that I'm leaving Southern Cross University at the end of this year, where I've been heavily involved in action research with Bob Dick and Shankar Sankaran. Shankar's left and Bob's sort of semi-retired, although you wouldn't believe it, the way he's working at the moment. And I'm about to leave. So there's a large focus of action research that is going to leave Southern Cross. And for me personally, one of the things I'd like to do is to keep involved with action research. I may not be supervising students anymore or anything like that, but I'd certainly like to be involved. And as a result, I've been talking to Ernie Stringer, who's president of ALARPM in Australia. And what I've been talking to Ernie about was having a more involved role with ALARPM. I've been so busy in the last few years that I've basically been a member of ALARPM but haven't got involved in the executive or anything like that. So I've been talking to Bob and also to Ernie about being involved a bit more. As a result of those conversations, and it's all still a little bit woolly, which is me all over in terms of thinking. I'm an extrovert, so I think out loud. So it's all still a bit woolly, and even in my own mind. But basically, one of the things I might be looking at, and Ernie's asked me to think about this, is helping develop international relationships between ALARPM in Australia and with other pockets of action research around the world. And here I am. So it was just an opportunity, because I'm in the UK at the moment, was just to say hello. And I know that you've had conversations with Ernie previously, and that you've talked about the possibility of partnerships or alliances or relationships or whatever we want to call them. And I suppose this is just another kind of a move towards that.
Right, and if you were just to think now, because with the map of the world behind you, and in 2009 we've got in Singapore the next World Congress. Can we just think about what is it that you might like to feel could be a contribution that you'd like to make in terms of helping to take the, I suppose it's kind of global relations of action research forward. Have you got a sense of that?
Well, I do for me. Yeah. Whether everybody else shares my delusion is another issue, and so I'm speaking from my own, what I would like to get out of that. I'm not sure what everybody else does, and that's to me probably more important. But for me, I guess the reality that I see at the moment is that we have pockets of action research all around the world. We have Bath, and we have the people that in North America try to get things together, and you've told me about the people in Ontario, and we've got people at British Columbia, and there's a mob in New Zealand, and so we've got these pockets of action research all over the globe. And I guess one of the things that happens for me is, like the conversation that we've just had today, Jack, is that I've learned from you that there are some other pockets that I didn't know about before. And I don't know about everybody else, but it takes me, I can only read a certain number of journals, and I only get access to a certain number of these pockets. So it seems to me that we're doing a lot of work, and that maybe it's only from time to time that we get a chance to kind of pull that together. I'd like, for me personally, what would be exciting for me is for 2009 to have a focus of actually pulling together, if you like, those pockets, and finding a way where we can communicate more among the action research community about what we're doing. That's one thing. The other thing is, and you kind of planted this seed a little earlier, but the fact that, but I have talked to other people about this previously, and that is that there's some risk and there's some danger, I think, in having action research tied to specific universities. It's a bit like Southern Cross, with Shankar's leaving and myself leaving and Bob doing other things. It dies on the vine if you're attached to a university, and universities are not that reliable in taking care of legacies. but if we had a global community where we were of action researchers that were able to feed into universities rather than relying on universities' largesse, then that to me would be something that I'd like to see talked about in 2009. And it could only happen if we had a kind of a community, a worldwide community of action researchers.
Great. So if then I post this on YouTube now,
Yeah.
just with a small edited statement,
Yeah.
and we could just invite people possibly to get in touch with the ALARPM network,
Yeah.
probably putting the URL there for the ALARPM group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we could do that, and that would be a great start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And get some feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start with that.
Sounds great.
Good.